This one is Banana Pancakes by Jack Johnson. I'm going to start with the intro. What I'll do is play it along with the music for you. The whole thing starts with a slide into the 7th fret using your 3rd finger on the 6th string. So we're going to do this. From there we're going to use our 1st finger on the 5th fret of the 5th string and then back to our 7th fret note here. So we have, from there we're going to go 1st finger 5th fret 6th string, then to 3rd, pull to open, slide up to 5th, and then form an A minor 7 chord, which I'll show you in a minute. Let's get this other stuff under our fingers first. So it's one more time. Now here's how you do the A minor 7 chord. This one's pretty easy. You're going to use your 1st finger across all of the strings on the 5th fret, and then your 3rd finger is going to come to the 7th fret of the 5th string right here. And before he plays the full chord, he does a little muted stroke here. Like so. And the way you do that is you lift your fingers slightly using your left hand and then brush across the strings with your right hand like so. So when we put the whole thing together, we have this. Second time through, same riff, except we land on the 3rd fret and form a G7 chord. Now the G7 chord is going to look like this. We have our 1st finger across all of the strings on the 3rd fret, our 2nd finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string, and our 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the 5th string. Should sound like that. So the second half is the same riff, except we end it with the G7 chord. Then the transition from the intro into the verse, we have a couple little upstrokes here, and this chord, which is a C or a D7 rather chord. And the way we're going to do this one is we use our 1st finger across 5 strings, and you can also flap it over the 6th string too if you want. Just don't play that note. Pinky on 7th fret of 2nd string, and 3rd finger on 7th fret of 4th string. So it's going to look a little something like this. Should sound like that. So again, for the transition we have 2 of these, and then, and as far as the picking strokes, I'm using upstrokes for the chords. I'm using upstrokes here, and then I use a downstroke for this transition chord. So it's mostly upstrokes except for the last chord, which is going to be 2 downstrokes. So there we have the intro, and you're going to find the chorus is really similar to that. So when we do work on the chorus, I'm going to kind of breeze through things because we've already covered it in the intro. Let's move along to the verse. Okay, here's the chorus to the tune. Before I go over the chords right along with the music, what I'm going to do is show you the chord progression so that you'll know what we're doing. I think it's going to be easier to learn that way. Consists of 3 of the chords that we've already learned and 1 new one, which is C7 here. And so it's going to start on G7, then we're going to move to D7, which we already learned, to A minor 7, then to C7, which is the same thing as D7, except we're just going to move it all down 2 frets. So the fingering here is 1st across all the strings, 3rd on 5th fret of 4th string, and pinky on 5th fret of 2nd string. And we're strumming 5 strings here. So we have G7, D7, A minor 7, C7. Now the strum for this is kind of cool. If you want to accentuate the bass notes along with the chord, you can actually pluck the lowest note first of the chord and then give it a nice snappy strum after that. Something like that. And it doesn't matter whether you use downstrokes or upstrokes for this. I know a lot of the reggae type people out there are going to want to do upstrokes. I personally prefer the downstrokes because I like to put that bass line in there, and it's much easier to do that with downstrokes, or you can do it with upstrokes. Doesn't matter as long as you get the sound of the song in there. Okay, so that aside, let's go ahead and play it along with the music so you can see how it's going to fit in. So there we have it along with the music. It's pretty basic. Let's move along to the chorus. By the way, our transition chord that we're going to go into when we do the chorus is going to be A minor, similar to what we saw in the intro after this. So let's go ahead and learn that chorus now. Okay, here's the chorus for Banana Pancakes. Before we get started playing along with the music, I'd like to show you the strum to the first couple chords and also the riff, which is similar to the intro riff. The strum you're going to want to use, it's on an A minor 7 chord, and it's going to be upstrokes with that rhythm. Bum, 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 bum. And then, of course, we have our riff that we learned earlier. And then we just go back and forth with that. One difference between the intro and the chorus is when he says, "Can't you see that it's just raining?" He goes up here to this note in the intro, right? Well, this time he sticks to the open note riff here. So basically this whole thing is just going to be that riff played over and over between the between the rhythmic chord changes. That said, let's go ahead and play it with the music. And you can see he ends it on a D7, just like we did the transition between the intro and the verse. So there it is, the chorus to the song, real similar to the intro, pretty basic. Let's move along to the bridge. Okay, here's the bridge for Banana Pancakes. Before I get started showing you the chords, I want to play it along with the music for you so you can see where I am with the music and watch my fingers as we move along through the song. Let's do that now. Okay, so there we have it along with the music. Basically we have an A minor 7 to a G7 change for the first part of the bridge, and that's where he goes, ain't no need, ain't no need. Can't you see, can't you see? So we do that change twice. Then we have the telephones are ringing, singing, you don't pick it up. And this one is an A minor 7 to a D7 change. Now the strum for this one's a little different. We're going to go down, up, down, up, down, up. And that little percussive sound you hear in there, we produce by lifting our fingers slightly off the strings and scraping the pick across the strings with our right hand. So we have. And we're going to do that twice. We got everything we need right here, and everything we need is enough. Next, we're going to move up to B minor. New chord for this lesson. The way we do this one is first finger across the 7th fret, all the strings. 3rd and pinky come to the 9th fret on the 5th string and 4th string. Should sound like that. And we're going to use the same strum. Then we go to E minor. Another new chord. This time we're just going to keep this finger barred. These 2 fingers are going to move over one set of strings. So we're now on the 4th and 3rd strings. 2nd finger is going to plop down here to the 2nd string on the 8th fret. So we're going to look like this. And then from there we go to C7, which we learned earlier. Then G7. D7, and back to G7, and then we have our transition into the verse that we've seen every time we've gone from the intro to the verse and also the chorus to the verse. So there we have it along with the music. Let's go ahead and play along with the whole song now so that you can see how all the parts fit together.